Hi and welcome to Vegan Delicious. I'm going to be showing you how you can make Jamaican patties at home, super easy and absolutely delicious.
Hi, you might be wondering, what am I cooking? Well, in this pan there is zucchini and some kind of spinach cooked on a high heat to brown. And then I'm throwing in these mushrooms, which are going to help to make up the inside of what I'm cooking, which is vegetarian and vegan, well actually both vegan, Jamaican patties. I am going to have the vegetable version, which is going to be all of this stuff, and my hubby is going to have the beef version, which is going to be all of this stuff plus the vegan beef that I have just shredded and made. I'm going to be putting the video out for the vegan beef on my channel. I'm just going to edit it first because there's quite a few pieces of it, but this is going to be how I didn't really plan to do a video today, but I wanted to show you this. So this I'm going to season up. Let me show you patty dough. Okay, so what I did for this patty dough, I totally didn't expect to do this. I came into the kitchen to do something else, and then I was just like, I just want to make some dough. So I used wholemeal, whole wheat flour, 2.5 cups, 2.5 cups. Then I used a teaspoon each of pink salt. I used a teaspoon of paprika and turmeric for the color. And then I also used a teaspoon of brown sugar, which I can't seem to spot right now. Here we go. So some brown sugar, and this is the vegan beef that I made, and there's a couple of videos on my channel of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend pieces of this up, and it will become like a mince, like, you know, mince meat. And I could actually just shred this to put in there, but I'm going to blend it, and then I'm going to blend it actually with some fresh onion. I've got some scallions, so I'm going to blend it with that. So right now I'm going to just roll out the dough, and dough itself was the ingredients I just said, and then I also put some oil, which is coconut oil. I actually buy it in bigger bags and then refill it. And then I also used ice cold water. So I just used some water and some ice from the freezer. And then now I'm just going to put it in the fridge for maybe like an hour because I was busy. And then now I'm just going to roll it out. I should be able to get maybe 5 patties from this based on the size, maybe 4, but we'll see. And when I was rolling it, I was kind of like turning it on itself, pressing it down, turning, pressing, and you can see that because you can see here I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and usually you would do many, many more, but I just wasn't planning to do it. I had just popped in the kitchen to get some crackers, and I was like, I want to do patty. So anyway, now I'm going to use all my strength because this has been in the fridge. And previously when I would do the patty, which is why I have stopped doing them, I would previously do it with like loads of vegan butter, and you'd put loads of butter in the layers, and we are decreasing the amount of butter that we're using. So that's the reason that I stopped making it, and I just realized, you know what, let me make it all the same. So I'm just rolling this out, and I'm just going to turn this on itself. Roll it again, make sure you can see it. And I also put, because I use wholemeal flour and sometimes the gluten production can be a little bit, it takes longer. So what I did is I put, I would probably say about a tablespoon and a half of corn flour in the dough, into the flour, along with probably a tablespoon of semolina flour, just to help it to kind of bind together and be a little bit more stable. That's what I did. You don't have to. All right, so this is looking good now. Happy with that. And this dough took like, I want to say maybe 6 minutes for me to make. It really didn't take long at all. All right. So that's pretty good now. It's not too thick and it's not too thin. I'm happy with where that is. And I'm going to fill it here and then fold it over and then use a fork. But right now I can hear and smell that the mushroom mix needs another little stir. That's going nicely. Got a bit of juice in there. I'm going to let a lot of that juice die off. And let me season it now. Just preparing a quick seasoning mix, which is going to be a teaspoon of garlic powder. Get some black pepper in here. Do half a teaspoon of that. Then I'm also going to get some salt in here, just under a teaspoon. Then I want to get some basil, or basil, depending on how you pronounce it. And that's just over a teaspoon I did of that. And I can hit it with a little bit more of this paprika, half a teaspoon. And I'm going to put some fumaro smoke in there so that I get a smoky flavor for the inside. And that's a teaspoon of that. Alright, that's pretty much all I need to give it like a good little basic flavoring, because this is already super well seasoned, as you can see. So let's go ahead and get this into the vegetables. Alright, here we go. Let's get this into the vegetables. Give that a quick toss. And that's our vegetables seasoned. And I'm going to put that, keep that fire high because I want that most of the water to come off of it. I could just drain it, but I want all of it to be absorbed back into the vegetables. All right. And this type of spinach is kind of like a mustard greens, so it needed longer to cook. But I could have put it on a little bit later, really, after everything had reduced, but it doesn't matter. All right, so that's good. And turn that fire down so I'm not going to be distracted with it. And I want this to cool down a little bit before I put it into the patty. But right now what we're going to do is we're going to blend up the beef. So we're going to blend this up now, and then you'll be able to see when we start putting it into the patty. And then I'll roll these out as well so that they're all ready. Getting rid of these rough edges. And then I'm going to fold it over. Squish it down. You can see here, this is where the flaky parts will come in. Try and get, there you go. That's where the flakes will come in because of the layers, even though I'm not adding extra butter. And when you're rolling it, think about the shape that you want to put the contents in. Can't just do some random shape. So think about how wide you need it to be. If you want it to be circular, that's also very common. Oh, it's a lot of work, but it's worth it. Get a little bit of a stomach workout, arm workout. There we go. And this will be the direction I'm going to put the contents in and then flap it over. But I can see it's actually quite thick, so I'm still going to just keep going to get a little bit wider. Get a little bit more at the top here. All right, you pretty much get the idea now. And then what I'm gonna do is off camera, I'll do this final one. The others I've rolled out are actually in the fridge or the freezer. I've just basically put them where I had space because the colder it is, the better it's gonna cook. Also, now's a good time to put on your oven to preheat so that when you do get to the cooking part, it's already hot. You don't want to put it in a cold oven. All right, so you can see how thick that is. Happy with that. And let's have a look at the veg. All right, the veg is doing good. Reduced pretty well. I'm going to just put a little bit of cornstarch in to absorb some of this liquid and to ensure that it doesn't become wet when it is cooking in the oven along with the rest of the food, the pastry. All right, here's our corn flour. I just put like a little bit of water in there so that I can dissolve it a little bit first. I'm gonna pour it right in here and it will thicken up right away. I need 2 hands. Okay, cornstarch is ready. I'm gonna go ahead and just pour it over. And it's immediately thickening up. And that is that. All right, so I'm happy with that now. You can put whatever vegetables you want in here, carrots, whatever it is, just make sure that it's cooked before you put it in. Now I'm going to take it out of the hot pan because I need it to cool down a bit. All right, so here it is. I'm going to put it in front of a fan for it to cool down. I'm not going to put it into my freezer to cool down because that will change the temperature of the freezer. I think it will kind of mess with it a little bit and I don't think it's healthy. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then now we're going to go ahead and blend this. Okay, to our blender, we are going to add about a tablespoon of oil. That's coconut oil. Use whatever oil you have. And I already have some cut up scallions that I cut up. My helper cuts up and puts in the fridge. So I'm going to basically put a bunch of that in there. And to help it blend, we're going to have to add just a little bit of water. Not much, but just enough for it to be moist at the bottom. And let's have a look here. I'll always check the bottom of my blender. I'm going to just add a bit more water. So I'd say I'm probably adding about a cup, maybe just under a cup of water. And then I'm going to take some of the pieces of the beef. I might have to do this in little batches, but I'm not trying to make it completely like mush, just minced. All right, so I'm going to take a few of these pieces of the beef out. Hang on. All right, so I'm going to just throw them in there in little pieces. If you watch my shredding video, this is the chunks that I had left over, which, I mean, I would really go through this, but hubby really likes them this way and he likes them as strips. But I'm gonna just throw a few of these in there. It doesn't take that much because you don't really want to overfill the blender, and you definitely don't want to overfill your plantains, your patties. What you can also do with the patties, I mean, you can put whatever you want, vegetables, whatever you like, you can put in there. But just make sure, let's do one more, just make sure that when you do this, and just a little sidebar, you can actually also use this blended beef for lasagna. And if you feed this to somebody who eats meat, they won't know the difference. Not telling you to trick people, but make a portion of it and they won't know the difference. It's that good. But yeah, so here I'm going to go ahead and blend this. As you know, on my channel, I always pause the video to blend because I appreciate your ears. So hold on a moment. Okay, blending all done. As you can see, it's all minced up in there. And let's get that out so you can have a look. It's all minced up. Oh, there we go. I'm in a hurry because I have a Zoom meeting soon, and I want to get finished up with this in the meantime. So you can see here, this is our minced, our blended minced meat, vegan meat. So I'm going to get this out and I'm going to mix it. I'm going to take out some for the vegetarian patty and then I'm going to mix the rest. So let me get that. All right, so here is our vegetables from earlier on. I'm going to keep some of that aside here, and I'm going to probably put that with some of the cooked tofu I've got. This is the rest. And then I'm going to dump this in here. All right, so it's all together now. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a mix to combine. It might not look super appetizing, but what's the difference between this and when you cook mincemeat? You know, when people eat meat, cook mincemeat. No difference. So it's just cooked up ground beef, vegan ground beef. And now that's ready for me to be able to put into the patties. And this one, my light went off. I'll fix that in a minute. This one is cooled down enough for me to be able to put it inside of the patty. So I'm just going to put a little bit of my tofu in here just to make it a little bit more protein rich. Oh, I'm cooking now. I totally forgot that I had lentils I had pre-made. So I'm going to put a few of these tofu in there. Break those up. And I'm going to put some of this lentils in there because that will be really nice. All right, so I pretty much am ready to now put everything into the cases. This is the lentils mixed up. Again, I don't really care right now what it looks like, but it's going to taste really great. So, yeah, that tastes really good. Really flavoursome. All right, so I've got both of my innards for what I'm going to be putting inside of the patties. Now I'm gonna get the patties out and then we can start making them. Okay, so I've got out the these lovely pastries, but I had put them in the freezer, so they are a tad cold. This one's cold. This one I took out a couple of minutes ago, so I'm going to work with these two first and then I'll do this one after. All right, let's get our minced beef, our ground beef one, together first. And all I'm doing is just scooping it out so that it covers the half. And it's going to be directly folded over. This is so moist. And this is the kind of like texture that you like inside of a Jamaican patty. You want it to be moist and juicy. All right, that'll do. Probably a bit too much, but I know some folks who add cheese to it. I can't get my head around cheese, vegan cheese, in a patty. So I've never done that. I'm just gonna fold it over and start from one side, press it, just to make sure that the contents don't come out. Take it all the way over, and if you are starting to lose any of your contents or they're starting to get a little bit rowdy, just push them back in and give it a really good push down. You want to really seal that in. This bit here is probably not good, but no worries. All right, so then the next thing we're going to do, if I can find it, is we're going to cut the pastry corners so that they are clean and pretty. And then I'm going to use a fork to seal them and to give them that signature West Indian patty, Jamaican patty seal, which happens with a fork. Just using one of my kitchen forks here. By kitchen forks, I have a different set. I have some kind of simple forks that I use for just cooking with. And then I've got the ones we use for dinner. Because if I use the ones that we use for cooking with, for dinner that we cook with, we would never have any clean forks. So this just saves me washing up as much. And I'm going to put that onto a greased or a grease-proof paper. That is so nice. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to eat. All right, so I'm going to do this, the same process for the rest, including the vegetarian ones. And by vegetarian, I mean the ones that don't have the beef in it, because I'm gluten-free. My husband isn't gluten-free, so he can have the vegan beef. I can't, so I keep saying vegetarian one. Because vegetarian patties usually just have vegetables in it, so that's what they call it. But all of this is all 100% vegan. All right, I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest. I'll just show you this quickly. When you are filling, make sure that you're leaving like an inch from the edge, because when you fold over, it's going to push it. When you start pressing, it's going to push it all over the place. So if you fill it too close to the edge, your food is going to come, the composition, the inside is going to come outside, and it's going to make it harder for you to have a dry seal on the edge, which is what you want. You don't want this edge part to get wet. You don't need it to be wet at all. You just want it to have a clean seal. So that's what I'm doing here. I'll just show you one more time my closure on this. And you want to take this all the way to the edge, see? And then press here, then go over to the side, stretch a little if you need to, and just make sure you've got a clean press. And where it starts to move, you just make sure you get a clean press. And I can see there's no problems here on the edge. You see the food starts here. So I'm just going to stretch that ever so slightly, and a clean press. And the fact that I can stretch the dough a little bit says that the gluten has developed well, even though it's a wholemeal flour. And you can use a knife if you don't have a pizza cutter, or anything you want, just something that gives you a clean edge. Sharp knife is good. You just kind of, you know, place it around. And this is a real sense of home for me. I am born in London, England, but my entire family, same for my husband, are Jamaican. So for us, this is kind of like nostalgia food. You can't really buy this, not really, you can't at all buy this anywhere in the country that I live. There's not like Jamaican restaurants and stuff. So the things that we really miss, that remind us of home, and by home I mean family, is things that I have learned to make myself, as opposed to the convenience that happens of being able to make it, go to a store and just buy it, you know. So it's beautiful when you can actually make things that remind you of home. Now you see here I'm pursing the top with some holes. This is so that when it starts to cook and the pastry is cooking, if you don't purse it with holes, it will look for an exit. It will push outwards somewhere here, it will push outwards, and then it will kind of bubble, and it's just not a good look. So if by giving it some holes, you're giving it some space to vent when it's cooking. So that's why the holes are important. Now this one is actually a very big one. I mean, I could almost, could I get two out of this? I could get two small ones out of it. Let me see. If I cut here, I could put a small one here and a small one here, or I'll just do one big one. I'll just do one massive one, and then that would be like, instead of having to have two, just have one. All right, so let me do that. This is going to be huge. It's the beauty of making your own stuff as well. You can just make whatever size you want, as opposed to the standard size that comes at a restaurant or in a serving portion in a shop in the store. Alrighty. That might even be a bit too much, but I can just bring it up a little bit because I've got so much space. And I'm still leaving a liberal amount of space here. Oh man, this is gonna taste so good. The pastry itself, I also encourage you, if you enjoy spicy food, then add curry powder. That's one of the important ingredients that is added to this dish normally. The curry powder is really, really important to the dish. So, but I don't really like curry powder. I don't like spicy food, so I just use black pepper inside of the food on the inside, and I use paprika and turmeric for the outside. But I already mentioned that to you, but part of the way that it's normally colored, if for non-vegan cooking, is they cook it often with garlic powder. They use lard sometimes. I'm giving this one quite a few holes, and let's get those edges sealed up. I can see some of the food on the inside trying to make its way out. Didn't seal that side well until before I pressed down. All right, but no damage, no harm. And when you're pushing, do not push the front of the fork into the pastry because you'll pierce it. So just really kind of push down the part that you intend to push down. And here as well, you can also tidy it up if you want it to be kind of like pretty. You can tidy it up, and this cutting also kind of cements the seal as well. So that's another thing that you can do. All right, I'm done showing you guys this. You know what to do now. You see how massive this is. I'm gonna go ahead and fill the vegetarian ones and then get these in the oven. And here's what the tray looks like. I'm going to go ahead and put them straight in the oven now. I'm just going to show you my blooper. There was an error in judgment. I thought I put the plastic in between and I didn't. So I had to wait for these two to warm up essentially from the freezer for a little bit so I could separate them. Oh, I forgot to say, when they do come out of the fridge or the freezer, just give them another little stretch before you fill them, because they do kind of tighten up a little bit. So you don't want to kind of like go crazy and make it super flat, but just, you know, give it another little stretch when it comes out of the fridge or the freezer. And I've just put all those offcuts I've been doing, I just put that to use in the last one, just rolling it out so it becomes part of it. It's another layer and it makes a bigger patty for the last patty. Can't just throw them away, got to use them. Okay, that's it. And then here is my two vegetarian ones, which have the lentils, tofu, and the vegetable mix. So those are also going to go in the oven now. Of course, we cannot eat all of this in one day. We're each going to have one of these. My hubby will have it with French fries because he likes it like that. I would normally, like back in the day, I would have one of these with like a little bit of macaroni cheese, some rice and peas, some coleslaw, all kinds of stuff. I just don't have that bandwidth today to organize that, and I also can't eat rice anymore. So anyway, I'm going to put these in the oven. Next time you'll see me will be once they're done. They're going to take about 30 minutes in the oven on around 200 degrees. You'll know when they're done when the dough looks completely cooked and it's a lovely golden brown color. So I'll show you those as soon as we're done. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, they are cooked. It's all done. And here is the other batch, which is for my hubby. And you can see they are super golden brown. Oh, they are really hot. I'm going to give them a couple of minutes to cool down, but it's really golden brown. You can hear that sound. That's a lovely sound. And I'm just going to break off the corner on one of them so you can see how flaky they came out, despite this might not be a good idea. It's very, very hot. Let me at least put it here. All right, here we go. Woo! Look at that. Lovely, flaky, layered. Oh, that's good. It's so hot. Let me show you close. I can't bite into it right now because it needs a few minutes to cool down. But you see that lovely flaky pastry? And I've done that with the layering without having to add loads of butter. But that's really nice. Let's get a little bit more. Oh, that's really good. Lovely crisp crust on a delicious Jamaican patty. Looks so good. Hubby's gonna love this, I just know it. Hopefully this gives you some inspiration for something that you can do in your kitchen. Thank you so much for watching. Stay delicious, be delicious. Have an awesome and wonderful day. You know I appreciate you. Remember to like and share this with your friends and family. It all really helps my channel. I'm on my road to 1,000 subscribers and I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for all of your comments. I do reply to every single comment, so make sure that you message something down below, ask any questions you have, and just let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, stay delicious. Bye.